hypnosis, my teacher, her name is Grace Smith, and she calls it meditation with a goal. And
Oh,
that is true. There are different ways to do it. You mentioned the meditation or the hypnosis. Part of what I'm going to offer is hypnosis that you just listened to
mhm.
about overcoming imposter syndrome, overcoming overwhelm, overcoming procrastination, and those types of things.
Cool.
That is one type, and it can work, but it takes time and a lot of repetition for those to work.
Mm.
One-on-one hypnotherapy, it's actually, well, there's a couple of things. People think you're asleep when you're hypnotized. You're not. In fact, with one-on-one hypnotherapy, you talk back, we have a conversation.
Well, that's what
I say,
intrigued me when you said that. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that it was interactive.
well, and some people aren't so sure about that, but it is simply that the way that I like to think about it is we are letting your conscious mind relax and go away. And so under hypnosis, your brain gets into theta brainwave states because I induce you into hypnosis, which just means I relax your conscious mind. You're still aware, you're still itching your nose, you're still hearing noises outside. If someone knocked on the door, you would get up and answer it. And I've done all those things under hypnosis.
Mm.
But I'm having a conversation with the part of you that doesn't often get to speak. So I'll give you one example that, and with someone I did this past weekend that was really impactful. We spoke to her physical body, her emotional body, her spiritual body, and then her wisest self.
Mm.
And so each one of those parts of her had something different to say and something different that they wanted from the other parts of her. And
Wow.
then the wisest self sort of said, I've got this. This is how we're going to do it. But I'm not answering any of those questions.
Mm.
I'm asking the client those questions and I ask her or him to ask themselves out loud. And then they get the answer and they repeat it back to me out loud. And then I'm able to repeat it in a way that it becomes a suggestion in their subconscious brain. So it's interactive. You are not out of it. You are not under someone else's control. And the one thing I will say about stage hypnosis is the people who do that raise their hands.
Mm.
They know what they're going to be doing. I've talked to
Yes.
people who have been under that kind of hypnosis. And unless they want to forget, they don't forget what they've done. Usually at the end of a stage hypnosis, the hypnotist will say, if you want to forget this, you have complete forget, you'll not remember anything that happened. And then they won't remember. But most of the people that I've talked to that have been up there, they say that they just didn't feel any inhibitions, but they didn't want to, which is why they raised their hand. You don't
Exactly.
do
Yes.
anything you don't want to do under hypnosis. And I think that's something everyone needs to understand because otherwise it would be terrible and scary. And also, I'd be a millionaire. 'Cause I'd be
Yes.
like
New career
doing
change.
I'd be running for president. I'd be, all
Of
kinds of things.
course.
So, yeah, you can't make people do what they don't want to do.
Oh my God, this is incredible. I just didn't realize. So, just when you said you spoke to the physical body, the mental body, the higher self, the wiser self, that's, I think, what just got there for me. Does this work over Zoom? Because I need this in my life.
It does. We do most of it over Zoom. I would love to
Oh,
work with
cool.
you. I would love to
Oh,
work with you. We can
this
talk
is
about it,
so,
but yes,
yeah.
we do it. We do it all over Zoom really now. There are
Mm.
occasions. So Grace, my teacher, she will fly to. She's a very very high price point, and she will fly to some people who want to do something in person. And in person, the difference with in person, if you're comfortable with the client, you can touch the person, and
Mm.
sometimes there are types of touch that help you to get into hypnosis more quickly. Nothing
Wow.
weird, but just
Yeah.
like taps on the shoulder or like sort of moving a person side to side. But over Zoom, there are things that I'm taught to look for to
Mm.
see whether you are under hypnosis. And I think also it's important for people to know there are times when I'm being hypnotized that I'm like, I'm not hypnotized. And even when I'm answering questions, I'm like, this is my conscious mind answering this question. But it'll be a few days later that something will hit me and I'll be like, oh, I actually must have been hypnotized because I'm changing the way I believe about this
Mm.
thing. It's very, very powerful. And in all kinds of places, it's powerful with pain control, anxiety, sports performance, cognitive performance, sales performance. I mean, it really hits the gamut of things it can work on.
Yeah, and it's just interesting. So something that I'm playing with at the moment is so this concept called quantum jumping, and it's essentially where you connect with the version of yourself that has already achieved all of the dreams, all of the things that you want, all of those goals, all the milestones, and have a conversation with them and find out the skills, find out the how, all of that stuff. And it's just as soon as you said that you were speaking to the wiser self or the higher self, I was like, ah, oh, that is exactly the track I'm on at the moment. It's just incredible to reframe all of the crushing things that are on you in the day and speak to that person and connect with that person. I just think there's so much power in that.
I agree wholeheartedly. And it
Mm.
is definitely something that we do under hypnosis. And for me, it's really powerful. I am rereading a book called A Happy Pocket Full of Money,
Ooh.
and it's phenomenal. And I see all those books behind you,
Yeah,
Danielle.
I'm like, I
This
need to write this down.
it's so
Yes.
good. But he talks a lot about how all, and this is the quantum stuff, all things are happening at the same time. And so that version of you actually exists. And so we do talk to that version of you. And that version of you is usually saying things like, this is no big deal. Of course, this
Mm.
is happening. It's all fun. You're going to look back on this and miss these days
Yes.
because it's the fun part. And it's beautiful to have someone hear that from themselves. Again, I'm not answering any of these questions. I'm just asking the questions so that you can ask the questions of your subconscious and get the answers. And then I'm helping you remember the answers by
Mm.
turning them into suggestions.